Good evening, or should I say good morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning. You are watching another episode of Insomnia. We got a special guest, Doc Reggie, and we're finna do some football picks. Yeah, man. We ready for some football, man, this weekend.
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody in the chat? If you're there and up at this hour.
Yeah. We're playing this.
This is the witching hour.
It's the witching hour, but the like, subscribe button is still available. So make sure you hit that button while you up late night, maybe sipping on something, listening to these guys talk some football.
Yeah, hey, listen, I got some Kettle One and pineapple juice from Mantua.
I got some 1738. I got some
Actually, you know what? I got pineapple juice.
Yeah.
Not on me, but the pineapple juice is in the car, so I have it on the ride back home.
Listen. So if you guys watched the drive time on Friday, you already know what team Crypto is going for. Is picking. So spoiler alert.
I guess the cat's out of the bag.
No, not only is the cat
it wouldn't have been out of the bag if it wasn't for Pete going on the panel.
The cat got out of the bag kicking and screaming.
Let me ask you this. Is Pete, let me ask you this, Shake.
It wasn't for Pete.
Pete. Let me ask you this, Shake. Is Crypto Pete's cousin?
Huh?
Is
This
Crypto Pete's
No, you gotta stop that.
No. That's Fred.
I guess
Fred
the
right
role
there.
reversal, if you talk about role reversal in confidence, maybe.
Oh, so you owning that, Crypto? Wow.
No, I ain't say nothing. I'm just saying Pete said something that triggered me, and I was like, "What?"
Hey, listen. You don't get ran over by the steamroller, Crypto.
I did. Yeah, I did. I actually did. I have to admit now. Me introducing the steamroller as far as Pete fell victim to that steamroller. Matter of fact, I jumped on there and helped push the gas pedal.
Hey, listen. Before we get to the games, let's talk about some coaching searches, but right after these words, all right?
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Finn's Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
All right. So first thing up, what's the first thing on the list? The vacancy, the first vacancy, one of the vacancies that got filled today was
The
the
it was
Patriots.
the Patriots. Yep.
Yeah, the
Up there in
Patriots.
Gillette.
Yep.
They did an inside hire. They
Yeah,
promoted from within.
I think that's a great thing, man. New England has a great culture. They have a way of doing things, and so promoting someone from within and keeping that legacy and that culture going. Obviously, you can't replace a Bill Belichick, but the
No.
climate and the culture of an organization, you can keep that
Mm.
going. The only concern that I have is this guy going to try to be Bill Belichick? Because that don't work anymore.
Yeah. I mean, to an extent, it's just like I've caught myself a lot of times when I was growing up. I couldn't stand my dad. You know, as you know, I'm not. You know,
Hmm.
all kids do, right? And
Right.
one day I used to always say, "Man, I don't want to be nothing like him. I don't want to be nothing like him." And as you reflect, I'm like, "God damn, I'm just like him." You try not to be, but you know, growing around somebody that all your life, you know what I'm saying? Whether you not like it or not, you know, they're gonna rub off on you, and you're gonna pick up a lot of their tendencies, whether you believe it or not. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that for me, for instance, as a principal, as the principal is my school, I hold true the core principle of hard work ethics, treating everybody right. But the
Yeah.
way that I go about that is different. And this guy is 37 years old. And while hopefully, if he's going to be, well, maybe I say hopefully not, he doesn't get for the Dolphins' sake, that principle. Like you can hold true to the principles of the organization, but present them in a different way.
Mhm.
If he tries to present those principles the same way that Bill Belichick did, he's going to be unsuccessful. If he presents those same principles, in a new age way, then he has a chance to be successful.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Mike Vrabel. He had a good foundation with Belichick, but he learned under a different coaching staff, so he was able to, you know, take from this guy, take from that guy, and take from that guy. You know what I'm saying? He was able to broaden his horizons with other coaching styles. When it came to coaching, he already had the fundamentals through Belichick, but when it came to coaching and those principles, he learned it from somebody else. But he had that core foundation through Belichick. That's why we're eventually we're going to talk about him, Brian Flores. I have no ill will towards Brian Flores, but I'm
Atlanta and
hoping that
Carolina
with
and
yeah,
what you
I'm
called
hoping
them.
that through Mike Tomlin and the coach from Minnesota that you know he got some new you know new tools in his bag, if you will.
Well, I think that when
Yeah,
people,
he's gotten three calls.
well, I can tell you this: people who Bill Belichick tree has been unsuccessful because they've tried to operate like Bill Belichick,
Yeah.
and that does not work because they don't have the luxury of championship after championship after championship behind them.
Hmm.
So again, that's why I go to, they have to uphold the principles, but they have to find a way to present those principles in a way that these new age players will receive it. I don't care what organization you in. you're not gonna be able to curse players out and talk shit to them no more, because these young players gonna cuss you back out and talk
Mhm.
shit back to you, and that's just what it is. But you can present to them, as I said, the core principles, and you can, establish how you're gonna go about your business as an organization, in terms of, if you can't do this, we're gonna get rid of you. You know what I mean? And those types of things, so that an organization can be successful. I saw an article today about Nick Saban, Carroll, and Bill Belichick, and that's the end of an era. And I really, really believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
it's funny, we're talking about Nick Saban. He's being replaced by the Washington coach. So that's gonna, we'll see how that goes. But I want to talk about, in my opinion, I don't know how you guys, but from least to, who do you think? In my opinion, I think the Carolina Panthers is probably the least desirable job right now. Especially when you have the
between them
owner
and
throwing
Atlanta.
a soda at a fan.
Well, first of all, I hate that because my daughter is dating Carolina
One of the
Panther.
Carolina Panthers.
I fucking hate that you said that
Right.
shit. But
Wow,
I would agree with you from a position of desirable jobs. First and foremost, start with, do we have the quarterback? And the
Hmm.
quarterback position is a question mark with Bryce.
No, well, listen. Last year he
yeah,
fired the
right now.
coach mid. Listen, he fired the coach last year midway through the season. This year he fired the coach midway through the season. So it's like, I don't know. It's like he's putting his
Yeah.
coaches in a short leash. Look, you drafted
Very short leash, yeah.
a developmental quarterback. Listen, we all know Tua's shortcomings, but come on, Bryce Young is 5'10". He didn't have speed. He's a project in itself. You know what I mean? And you
They're
put
gonna have to
Frank.
see it through. You can't keep
Yeah,
firing coaches.
and Frank Wright. He fired Frank Wright after one bad season. So, I mean, what coach is going to look and say, "Look, man, this guy, he's
Keep
gone through
giving
in
up
his
on me.
short tenure of being the owner. He's already on his fourth coach now."
Well, I think it's the
Hmm.
reality of it is the same situation as uh, Flores. They drafted a quarterback that the coach didn't believe in,
Mm-hmm.
and so you get rid of the coach because you can't get rid of the player in this situation because you spent a first round draft pick. So,
Yeah,
uh,
a
in
first
that
overall pick
regard,
too on that.
yes, and the
But
first
look, but
round
Frank
draft.
Wright is different though. Frank Wright is different. He was a former quarterback and he was a great offensive coordinator in
The
his
thing
in his right.
is, he wanted Stroud and they wanted
Hmm.
Bryce. And
Mm-hmm.
so when that's the case, again, I just
He didn't get
liken
a
it
chance to get his
to,
guy.
yeah, I liken it to the Brian Flores situation, where Brian Flores, whether you believe in him or not, whether you think it's right or wrong, he didn't want to. And, whether he was right or wrong is to be determined very, very quickly. But you can't keep the quarterback if you draft a quarterback that high, and the coach don't believe in him. You're gonna have to get rid of
Mm-hmm.
that coach. That's just the climate we live in.
Yeah, but with
I'd say Bryce is.
drafting,
They find the right coach. They'll
yeah.
keep him.
Well, here's the thing. Now, right or wrong, I don't believe in the right or wrong thing, because they say right or wrong. There's no such thing as right or wrong. He who makes the power makes the rules. But the thing of the
Hmm.
matter is, you got to look at it I look at it from this standpoint. Had Brian Flores gotten there, had Tua got there before Brian Flores, then yeah, you know what, you when you got there, you knew that this was going to be the quarterback. This is who you had to coach. But now they got Brian Flores, and I think they should have got him the quarterback that was going to make his system run better.
Facts. I
Right.
totally agree with that. I totally
Right.
agree with that. It
That's
like
what they should have.
That's
Grisham
what they
to
should have
let him
did.
have more
They should have
control.
got Flores his quarterback. And that's the same thing with
Right.
Frank Wright. They should have got him his quarterback.
Who he wanted, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at
Yeah,
the end of
Frank
the day,
Wright
man,
definitely
listen.
wanted.
I think Chris Greer believed in Tua more than he did Brian Flores. And hey, man, like I said, like you said, time will tell to see who's right. I would say the second job will be probably the Commanders, in my opinion. I don't know
Uh,
if you agree with that.
I
Well,
think that
maybe I would say Atlanta, but yeah.
I like the way that the Commanders played football.
Yeah.
Under that they weren't heavy, ultra talented as a team, and then they gave away the second round with Chase Young, the first pick in the draft. They gave away Chase Young and they gave
Mm-hmm.
away some players. I like
Then
the
they gave
way
away
that
Sweat.
team competed. So I kind of like the attitude that they have because attitude sometimes can overcome athleticism. But again, you're starting over with an unknown at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, they wanted to
yeah,
see through with how
yeah. Because who's that? Malik Willis is the
he's out of
quarterback, right?
Tennessee.
He's at Tennessee.
No, hold on.
Tennessee.
All right, who's
He's
their
at
quarterback?
Tennessee.
My bad.
Sam Howell.
Sam
Hey,
Howell. Yeah,
Crypto,
yeah.
give
My
me
bad.
one
I was
second.
getting confused.
Crypto, I need to go for 1 second. Give me 1 second.
All right. But yeah, it was Sam Howell. But
Oh yeah, Sam Howell. Yeah.
they're gonna see it through with him. It's weird. Leading before our game with them, he was leading the
Mm-hmm.
lead in passing yards, and he dropped all the way to 12th. I think maybe he missed some few games here and there, but
Well,
yeah.
so, so what trips me out is being that being that they were decisive they got their coach. The Patriots had their coach in the building. Do you think that Washington is going to do the same thing and say, hey, we have our coach in
Then
the building and Mike
Eric
the enemy?
Bieniemy, that yeah, they could do that finally as a way to say, hey, he's never had gotten coaching looks, so we can go ahead and easily just promote him up the ladder. Yeah, I
I
would say
mean,
that as he will be the front runner. Yeah, to get the job.
he should be anyway.
Yeah, because that would be the easy way to say, hey, promote him from within. Rooney Rule satisfied. Boom. He finally could say, get the monkey off his back of saying, I was looked at for interviews, but never got the final call. And the
Hmm.
Commanders to right the ship, that would be a perfect opportunity for that franchise to right the ship
Yeah.
when it comes to not only just to say hired him because he's a black coach, but it does well PR wise for race relations, especially with the historically what was going on in their organization. They get to kill
Yeah,
two birds with one
and
stone.
start and then you talk about they talking about the Dolphins have are in the Indian ground, right? Friggin'
Right?
Jalen Phillips tore his
Mm-hmm.
Achilles there. RG3, Alex Smith. I mean,
Right.
that's a house
All
of
happened
horrors
in
right
that
there,
building.
bro.
House of
Yeah.
Horrors. Yep. RFK and FedEx. That whole region. Yep. That is correct. House of
So
Horrors.
so
That's
let's
where
get to
Alex Smith destroyed his freaking leg. Hmm.
then we're talking about Alex Atlanta Falcons. I would say is the third. Um, because I think they're a quarter, but I don't know what they're doing, but they I think they're just a quarterback away
Hmm.
from you know I could easily
Yeah, I
see
think
them,
so too.
especially in that division, going from worst to first. Next year.
They could, yeah. They could. They the type of team that can do it. I would say. I would even go out on a limb and say Carolina can go from first worst to first because there's
Mm-hmm.
so many. They're not really a litany of players away. They only maybe like a handful of players away. One boundary receiver that's got great hands with the go with Thielen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Hubbard getting healthy. Chuba Hubbard getting healthy, and an interior offensive lineman, and they're good on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. They need a good to pair with the other cornerback and a linebacker away, and they can go from
Yeah.
worst to first and overnight, just like the Texans did. They only added maybe four skill position players to their mix and their franchise quarterback. Their franchise quarterback in the making, because I actually think they're gonna win. But so he'll meet my definition this week. But
Yeah.
I think that's all they needed to turn their franchise and be competitive. They'll be perennial playoff contenders, and hell, they get to the dance, Super Bowl, contender. But yeah, I think the Falcons can do it. They can do it with maybe uh, a quarterback and cause they're running back. They definitely got a real good running back, real
Yeah.
good tight end, real good wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? They beef up their line a little bit, get some people in they front in the front seven.
Mm-hmm.
They can do it. They get the right coach in there. They can do it. They can do it because the division is not like it's not like a runaway division where you got one team winning 13 games. So you see what I'm saying? If you ain't got a team that's like that in your division, then it's winnable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can compete. That's why I say the Packers are going to be competing with the Lions easily from here for the rest of the time now. You know, I expect them to maybe even win their division next year. But yep,
Well, let's
but
stay.
the
Let's stay in the
Falcons,
South with the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans. You got. I understand Derrick Henry's a good guy, but he's.
he
He's
might
getting
have
long in
played
the
his
tooth.
last game there.
And well, he's getting long in the tooth too. You know what I mean? He's. I don't know how.
I don't think he played his last game in Tennessee. I think he
No.
retires a Titan. I think he
Hey.
stays there and they make one more run.
And Will
He's a,
Levis.
I think he stays
Will
there.
Levis, of course.
I could
Just
be
like
wrong though.
just like every other quarterback, use us as a launching pad.
Right. Real Levis come out. They become competitive. It be them, Jacksonville, and the Texans duking it out, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
Colts gonna have something to say when our AR-15 comes back in the fold. So yeah, it's gonna be tough in the AFC moving forward next year. It's gonna be like I'm gonna call it the scramble drill, Shake Money, where week year in and year out, you're gonna have. You know how I like to always say it's gonna be at least one brand new team every year in every conference make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It might be two every year, brand new team, because the parity is starting to get that much more greater. It's starting to be that more profound. Where you have one team fall off, yeah, due to injuries or whatever. But from a personnel standpoint, you got a lot of teams that can easily turn it around in less than 300 days. With a proper draft, proper free agency, you can become next year's Houston Texans. You know, well, you was picking number 2 in the draft, and here you are winning a division title the very next season. You know, hell, that could be the Bears next year. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You just never know. And Tennessee, now that Vrabel's out of the fold, I'm glad he didn't go to New England.
Yeah.
If they get a suitable replacement for Vrabel, which I think what's his name's gonna be getting a call now that not Flores, but what's his name got a call from Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and he got the call from Carolina. I don't know if Tennessee. I got to look at the list again. If Tennessee called Flores, but
Yeah.
he's a good candidate for that style of coaching that
Mm-hmm.
that team would need. Run the football, conservative passing game, great hard nosed defense with your front seven, you know, semi press with the amoeba. So yeah, he can fill in real nice where Brable left off at if they choose to go
Yeah.
defensive minded head coach versus offensive minded. If that guy in Detroit doesn't just get the job, because
Well,
there's a lot of teams probably waiting on him to lose. And
mm-hmm,
I think not the Rams. I don't know if the Rams is going to warrant them that. They might have to wait a week or so.
mm-hmm.
But I think it ain't Ben. Is it Ben Johnson? He's the hottest commodity as far as the offensive coordinators going.
Yeah,
You
Raheem
know.
Morris they asked Atlanta for permission to talk to
hmm
Raheem Morris,
Frank
the defensive
Smith.
coordinator.
He only got one call, and that was Atlanta. So if
Yeah,
Atlanta don't hire Frank Smith from underneath us, then we don't know who else is going to call him. Whether Seattle's going to give him a
and
call.
listen,
But he's
Frank
the only
Smith.
guy that talked to him.
Frank Smith was the offensive line coach for the Chargers, so never forget.
Okay, cool,
And then let's
cool.
let's let's go to the West Coast
The
right
Chargers
now.
did that.
The Raiders.
They promote from within. I think
You
they
think?
keep their guy. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall to the pressure.
I mean, he
They
did a
gonna
hell of
keep.
a
They
good
gonna
job,
keep
man.
him on.
I like his coaching style, man.
Yeah. Hell, it was almost good enough to beat us. So
Hmm.
yeah. So he played pretty tough. He beat the division champions in his division. He beat the Chiefs.
Hey,
Pete Carroll is out of the door.
Seahawks could be another team for Brian Flores because remember,
Exactly.
Seattle Seahawks is a
They played a similar style.
yeah. Not to mention Pete Carroll will be the advisor, so you know
Right. If he's an
who better
advisor,
to have
yep.
as a peak sounding board for Brian Flores.
Right. Yep. That's another dark horse team for him to get brought on between
And
them
of
and the
course,
LA Chargers. See, the problem I have with the Chargers is that Harbaugh openly said he want that job, and that's most likely who they go with.
where did he say that?
No, he expressed it before the last year, and they thought maybe Staley was out of there last year.
Mm,
It wasn't this year. He said he voiced it interest last year when they thought
okay,
Staley was going to get tossed. It was
so
last year
let's
when he showed interest.
well, this is gonna
So
bring
yeah,
hopefully Doc Brown comes back, but yeah,
yep.
this
So
is
it's the
gonna
Chargers. That's my team. Not my team, Jesus. My team to surprise everybody with the coach. With the
people are gonna
coach,
clip you now.
Harbaugh. I know. Yeah, they go clip. They say, "Well, you heard what crypto said? Well, it's insomnia. It's 3 in the morning. What you expect?
Hmm.
They just rolled out of bed."
Well, here we go. Let's go over the 15 candidates real quick. Shane Walden. He is the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. This is number 15. This is CBS list of 15 top candidates. Walden would have been much higher on this list a year ago, but Seattle often has taken a bit of a step back from its breakout in 2022 campaign under
hmm
Geno Smith. So
hmm
yeah, man. So apparently, yeah, he's the number 15.
Okay.
Um,
Frank
do you
Smith,
think he gets the job or
14.
no? What's his? Let's put a percentage. I would say his percentage of getting a job is probably
Mm,
in the low 20s, 20%.
yeah, I'm in the 20s. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Frank Smith, offensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, which let's face it, it's like being the offensive coordinator for no difference between the offensive coordinator for Andy Reid.
yes, right. Atlanta's got to really fallen up. The problem is what hurt Frank Smith and all the candidates that may be under the Mike McDaniel tree
Mhm.
is our production on offense in the last several ball games dropped off. So it wasn't at a high pace as well last year. I mean, at the beginning.
Mhm.
So they're probably looking at Frank Smith and McDaniel like, well, are you going to bring that to us? And what do we need? Do you need all these weapons to make it work? or can you make it work with just the standard talent package? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's gonna be interesting whether or not Arthur Blank is going to tell him that, or may have asked him that question during his interview. You know, for the Atlanta and for Carolina. Carolina called him and go like, "Well, we got a young quarterback. What do you do as far as developmentals go? Because they're not gonna look at Tua as the developmental as far as on his resume. They don't have to go back past Tua.
mm,
You know, as far as who did he develop at that position in the past?
yeah.
Because they're not gonna look at Tua and say, no, well, no, Tua been there. That's what they're gonna say.
Well, okay, 14. Frank Smith. One thing that might go against Frank Smith is that he doesn't call his plays on the offense. But however, I don't think that's a big deal because McDaniel of the
Never
49
called
didn't call the
his
plays, and
right
and the Vikings Kevin O'Connell didn't call plays either. So
until this year, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they were virgins. They were play calling virgins.
yeah.
They were like a virgin
All
touched
right,
for the very first time.
coach for the Virgin. Oh man! All right, number 13 is Iriho. Well, he's a defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers may have been the worst team in 2023. Saw the firing of head coach Frank Wright in less than a year in his tenure. However, Iro is able to coach up the Panthers defense to a solid unit. So, yeah. So there, I can't pronounce that guy. Of course, number 12 is Mike Vrabel. I really don't have to get into him. He was 55-48 as a head coach, and it took his team to the NFC Championship. Oh shit! Now here's another one. Mike McDonald.
Yeah, the
Mike
NFC.
McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
He's a defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. So it was Mike McDonald versus Mike McDaniel. And of course, we know who won the first round, and Mike McDaniel won the first, and McDonald won the second round. So, and by the way, we don't have to see them next year, so I'm happy about that.
Nope, I won't have to buy a Raven ticket in back-to-back seasons, 300 days apart. I was at both.
No, check this out. This look, he allowing Baltimore defense allowing 16.4 per game. This season, he had 57 sacks and 29 takeaways, while allowing 4.6 per yard. So, McDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Yep. So he's going to be a candidate. Number 10 is Eric Bieniemy. Not much to say there. He finally listen. I liked Sam Howell. I couldn't remember his name, but he spread the ball a lot. You know what I mean? So I think it was the defensive failures that kind of hindered that team a little bit.
Yeah, they couldn't stop a nosebleed.
So
yeah, the enemy just might be the guy that they need.
Brian Flores completely. Number 9 is Brian Flores. He completely flipped the Vikings into defense in the 2020 More Feared League, opposing quarterbacks due to frequent blitzing. So,
yes,
I mean,
yep, confusing for the young guys.
Number 8 is Jared Mayo, which, let's face it, he got a job. Number 7 is Bobby Slowick, offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. Bobby Slowick,
right on the gate, he getting looked at the success he had under the San Francisco.
He's 36 years old. Comes from So he's younger than Mayo. So if he gets hired, he'll be younger than, because right now Mayo is the youngest coach at 37. So if he gets hired, he'll be the youngest coach.
Right.
And he apparently he comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree. So
Right. They all came from San Fran. Yeah. That's what D'Amico
yeah,
Ryans brought him on from. Brought a lot of his guys from San
exactly.
Fran.
So number 6 is Lou Armarno, whatever the hell you pronounce that. He's the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the defense definitely had to hold that offense on that team because Joe Burrow.
Right.
Number 5, Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator. There's a lot of defensive coordinators being
Mm-hmm.
mentioned this time around. Nothing really much to say about him. Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm.
So do you think that collapse was the defense or was the offense? They if you think about it,
Their
Philadelphia had a
defense.
collapse of their own
Mm-hmm.
this
Yeah, they did.
December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they collapses almost identical to ours. But yeah,
Yeah, the only thing,
their
yeah,
defense, they defense collapsed more and our offense collapsed more.
yeah, because they
That's
could have
what
had
that
a
was just
shot
a
at the
tale of
1
two
seed.
teams.
They could have
Yeah,
had
they had a shot at the one
just
seed.
like us. We they had a shot at the 2 seed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. All they had to do is just win their final 2 games. Mm-hmm. Yep. They collapses almost mirrored ours. Almost down to the game, which is weird.
Number 3 is Jim Harbaugh,
Mm-hmm.
Michigan. Now he
Yep.
said. Number 2 is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the
Ben
Detroit
Johnson
Lions.
for Detroit. That's the guy, Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
He's the hot commodity right now because of what he did.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
I
Jared
agree.
Goff is good. That's what I say. But Jared Goff, was he really that much of a downgrade? Not a downgrade, but yeah,
Hey, listen,
from
we'll find
Stafford.
out.
Stafford won the Super Bowl. If Detroit wins the Super
Mhm,
Bowl, was that
mhm.
really the right move for the Rams?
And you know what's funny is everybody says that they won the Super Bowl, but if you remember the Super Bowl where the Rams played the Bengals,
Mm-hmm.
it was the savior of that Super Bowl was not it was freaking
It was Donald
Aaron Donald.
that closed the deal on 2 straight
Yeah.
sacks back to back. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It
Now,
wasn't a
granted,
shootout by
Stafford
any
was
stretch of the
making.
imagination.
Granted, Stafford was making crucial throws to Cooper Cup that Cup made, and
Mm-hmm.
then he had that one Beckham touchdown in the first half. But yeah, but when it came down to it, Donald was the closer in that game.
Yeah.
He was the closer. But yeah,
All right.
yeah, he was the closer, and that's why I say when I call that a lateral move, even though he won the Super Bowl. That's why I say I know we're not moving off Tua because of the whole contractual stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
If our owner did something irrational, and I quote irrational, and forces us to move off him and or the coach, and we dismantle, if we were to lose bad tomorrow, and the coach and the owner gets impatient and push the blow up button, the reset button, my job is to talk the Dolphins fan base off the ledge and say that all is not lost because franchises have been able to reset themselves in very short order. It's not going to take a full 30 years to rebuild this team, like people think, even though we took us 30 years of misery because of
Mm-hmm.
losing in the playoffs and stuff. I'm just saying that with new management and new coaches or whatever, I'm just saying apocalyptic scenario if they blew it up. All is not lost. We can reset this thing in less than 300 days.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. Because we have examples of that throughout the league. You know what I'm saying? We may have not did it, but why can't we be the next Houston Texans
Hmm.
or the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Cincinnati Bengals in that sense where they reset their franchise and made a Super Bowl within 2 years of them resetting,
But crypto,
you
you
know?
do know how hard that is to do, and it's a crapshoot. And if you don't
I
get
don't
it
say it's
right,
that
then
much of a crapshoot though, because
I
you
think
the
that
blueprint's out there, Reggie. Dr.
well,
Reggie, the blueprint's out there though. All you have to do is pick it up and implement it.
well, the blueprint depends on getting the right quarterback, and the right quarterback.
Right. Well, yeah, the right quarter. Well, yeah, you can say quarterback, but if it's a lateral move, and this is why I say lateral. Now you don't have to be significant of an upgrade. If he has the right pieces around him for that particular play style, then that may be what it takes to get over the hump
Well,
against the competitor, the team that you keep losing to in the playoffs.
well, I would say that you look at a guy like Joe Burrow as opposed to a guy like Herbert, who just he has all the physical tools, but is he the guy that gets you over the hump? I mean, I would just remove Tua from the equation. I mean, the finding the quarterback is such a hard job to do. That's why you have 32 NFL teams, and they're really only what would be considered five or six game changing guys. And that's just what it is. That
Right,
position is so hard.
but outside of Patrick Mahomes, other quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl with the right combination of talent around them. Is what I'm saying. It
Well, I
happens more
would
often than
disagree
you
with
have
that.
because Patrick
You
Mahomes
have
and
that.
Brady is the only outlier.
You have that rare, right? So it's always the quarterback who wins the Super Bowl. You have examples of not the quarterback guy, but for the most part, it's been the quarterback.
Right, but I'm saying about as far as Mahomes, like they have like what they call a pseudo dynasty. Like let's say if they win it again, then you could officially call them a dynasty because they won 3 in 4 years or whatever it is. You could officially say they're a dynasty. Now they're like a pseudo dynasty because they only got two. But let's say if a brand new team hoists the Lombardi, then that goes to parity question. That means the league is getting more parity, and you can now start saying you can you can hit it on a collection of players, not
Hmm.
necessarily have the right quarterback though. You can
Well,
have
I
a
just would say
decent enough
that we
quarterback
haven't
to win it.
seen. I would just say that we haven't seen that be the case, except in very rare situations where a Flacco or a Dilford wins it. Typically, it's been the guys like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Mahomes, who that position just dominates. And when you have that position secure, you can win a Super Bowl.
Right. I get that, but I'm just saying, like in the years that those guys have an off year, for example, like they don't have it the right, they don't have it together that 1 year, and then you're that team that catches lightning in the bottle, and you may have somebody like Jared Goff win it in that one window. You know what I'm saying? Because Mahomes
Well,
went
I would
down, or
argue
you know
that
what I'm saying?
I would argue that it hasn't been lightning in a bottle. It's either been a quarterback or it's been a all time defense.
Like, well, all time defense. Who was that? The
So
Ravens.
so I would say
2002,
the Ravens all time defense with
2004.
Ray
Yeah,
Lewis.
with the Ray
Ray
Lewis
Lewis, or it's been the Rams with Aaron
or the
Donald.
Buccaneers. Well, the
Right, or the
Buccaneers did it with
Buccaneers, right?
Bradshaw.
So it's
With
either been the quarterback or
hmm
a hell of a defense. That's what Super Bowls come down
like,
to.
oh, you're saying, yeah, right. In that final game, y'all get it because it's a one game. It's not like
Well, I
best
don't
out of
think
three
it's
or
been
best out
that
of seven.
final game. It's been what carried them throughout. So that defenses, those defenses carried those teams throughout. The Baltimore team just said, "You don't let them. You guys just score 3 points and we got the rest." You know what I mean? So it's either been
Well, yeah.
the quarterback or it's been that defense that's unbelievable?
Well, what about the game where Tom Brady scored a gazillion points and still lost?
I mean, you have the outliers, of course. I mean, that's what makes
Because
it fun.
that
And
that was the one game he scored a lot of
right,
points
that's
in,
what I'm saying.
and he was like, that was his worst out, not worst out, but you know what I mean. He
Yeah,
was
of
like,
course.
damn, I'll
Yeah,
take this one back.
yeah, you have the outliers, but if you're talking about winning the Super Bowl, it starts with either having a all world defense or all world quarterback.
Or all world quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, Brady and Mahomes accounted for 9 of the last 20 Super Bowls, right? So there's like almost 10 right off the board right there
Well, then
between
you
two
talk about
players.
where those other 10 came from. Well, one came from Aaron Rodgers.
One
Um,
did, and 2 came from Ben Roethlisberger.
right. So then
2 came from Peyton Manning. So
right,
he's
and
an
then
all-world quarterback.
right, and then you say one came from that defense in St. Louis, which I wouldn't
And
call it all world, but it was pretty damn good.
All right.
So
right,
there's a
that's true.
formula to winning the Super
Well,
Bowl.
So let me ask you this real
yeah.
quick question before we get to number one. If you had to guess, who do you think was older, Nick Saban or Bill Belichick?
Mm.
Well, just because I read the answer today, I'll let Crypto answer that.
I'll say Nick Saban is older,
Yeah, he is
but he
72
don't
years
look
old.
older. Yeah, yeah. Nick
Nick
Saban,
Saban
he
72,
don't look
Belichick
older, but he
71.
is.
That is
Right.
amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
The energy
Those
that
two
those guys
guys are
have at
gone.
that age. But that's what winning and competing and all of that does
It,
for you,
it helps you age well, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
what's
remember,
funny
Marv
is,
Levy was older than them. When by the time he hung it up, Marv Levy was damn near 80 years old by the time he hung it up. Marv Levy was up there.
what's funny is, you look at, we talk about Mike Tomlin and McDermott. They're the same age, but McDermott looks a lot older.
Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Isn't
because they
it
were college
crazy
they were,
how
they were college teammates.
Yep.
isn't it
They played.
crazy how Pittsburgh was talking about getting rid of Tomlin in week 9 and 10 and 11?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Well,
was some rumors.
what's
That's
funny
why I
is I'm
never really
watching
believed that
pro
though.
football, talk football, and they're talking about that. That's depending on how the playoffs shape is still a possibility, and that's why Mike
No,
Vrabel
he
is
would
waiting.
leave on his own though, Shake. They're not
Yeah.
firing him.
So Mike Vrabel is waiting for what's going to happen in Pittsburgh, and there's talks of
Right.
Andy Reid might be retiring. So that
Right.
job might be
Those two
they
guys, I
said.
think, will have to walk out the door, basically.
Yeah. But I'm
Yeah, they
saying
got to
I
walk.
don't
there's a
think those are
possible
fireable
vacancy.
guys. I think they'll just walk away.
Well, I thought that it's funny, Crypto, because no one thought that Carroll was a fireable guy, and no one thought that Belichick was a fireable guy. I mean,
No,
so there,
but the terms that they left on, though, they just say, "Hey, mutually agreed as part ways."
but that
Carroll said,
means
"I'll
that
be an
you got,
advisor."
but that means that you got fired. We don't want you to coach anymore. That's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like to say that I think they
They,
left
I mean,
on
Carroll
equal.
came out to say Carroll said it today. I left because of non-football people. The
Yeah.
people they made the decision,
That
and
sounds like freaking Stephen Ross and Brian Flores all over again.
Well,
But
yeah,
what's funny is,
communications and collaboration. That
yeah.
sound like.
And we listen. I'm looking up Andy Reid's age, right?
He should be close to 70, if
Would you
not
say he's
70,
younger
early
or older
70.
than Belichick?
No, Andy's up there. I think Andy's 76.
yeah,
Maybe
somewhere
I'm
around
wrong.
there. No, no,
He's
he's
mid
He's
somewhere
70s,
around
ain't he?
65 years old. He's 65 years
Oh
60.
old.
God, I'm way off. Holy shit.
He's
Who
65.
was I thinking about? Man, he's younger than my
Yeah,
pops.
yeah, I thought he was older than that as well.
Yeah. Well, who was I thinking that was 70 something?
Pete Carroll 72.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I was thinking Pete was in the 70s. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
why is this talking about him retiring? Damn, he's younger than Belichick. What the hell?
Yeah, but see, he's been with two French organizations for almost 15 years each. So yeah, he's had a long career. He's
So
been there
just to
since his
recap,
30s.
and before we get to the playoff talk, let's recap real quick. So, Doc, we'll just give you the tell me if like yes or no. You think he'll get a? Do you think he'll get a shot? Yes or no? Just you know what I'm saying.
Okay,
Do a
let's
speed
go.
round with you.
Let's go with
Shane
it.
Walden, offensive coordinator, Seattle Seahawks.
No.
Frank Smith, you know who that is.
Yes.
Iriho, Iviro, whatever his name
No.
is, defensive
No, I
coordinator,
know
Kansas.
who he is. No.
Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
Mike McDonald, Baltimore.
Man.
Defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I know that, and I think that the league is leaning towards more offensive-minded quarterbacks. Although I really, really like him, and I would hire him, I go. I still have to say no.
Eric
Hmm.
Bieniemy.
Damn. No, he's just had too many opportunities. I think the book is out on him, and whatever thing that has prohibited him, I don't think that's changed just because he went to Washington.
Every Tournier's favorite coach, Brian Flores.
If you ask me, do I think he deserves one? I would say yes, because I think that everybody, it, man, that
It's hard, right?
nobody in New England has changed their stripes. And so you look at McDaniels and you look at the guys that from that tree, they are who they are. I would
Mhm.
love to see him get another shot. I just don't think he will for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
One just
Mm.
being that the league is turning to offense and he's a defensive guy.
Well,
Mm.
Jerome Merrill was number 8,
Okay.
but he got a call. Bobby Slowick,
Bobby
Uh,
Slowick.
Houston Texans.
yes, I think he'll get a job. Yeah, again, I think what he's done with that guy, the quarterback will he may not get one this year, but I think what he did with Shroud, he's gonna get a job.
Okay, how about
Right.
Lou Amarumo, defensive coordinator, Cincinnati Bengals.
Nah, hell no.
Dan Quinn.
Hmm.
I think that a team that
Ooh. Go back to Atlanta.
yeah, I think a team that wants a veteran coordinator may take a. Teams have different criteria. I want an offensive guy. I want a defensive guy. I want a veteran, somebody who's been a coach and they're ready now. Maybe they didn't succeed their first time. I can see him getting a job.
I can see Panthers, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can see him getting a job.
Brian Johnson,
Mm.
offensive
Not
Brian
this.
coordinator for
Johnson.
the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think that he gets one this cycle. I think that what has happened with the Eagles may hurt him.
Jim Harbaugh
Oh, if he wanted, I mean, that's
and
all.
Ben
Yeah.
Johnson.
That's
Ben
really up
Johnson.
to him. Well, they're only
Mm.
what is it? There are only 5 jobs, so everybody can't get one. And I've probably already given you the
Was
5 that I.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
then, of
5
course,
now, or what the Patriot and what you call job is
yeah,
not open yet,
you
right?
already know. You already know Belichick is Bill
right,
Belichick is he's getting one of those jobs.
right.
So all right,
Is he?
Belichick and
That's
Harbaugh, huh?
is that debatable? Is Pete Carroll and Belichick debatable?
Mm.
So if you
Pete
said one
Carroll
of them don't get a job, who would you say is not going to get the job?
well, Pete
between who?
Carroll,
Pete Carroll. Now Pete Carroll moved up. He's an advisor.
Right,
yeah,
but that's because he hasn't interviewed for a head coaching job yet.
Right. I don't know. Whoa,
I think
Washington.
he's probably
Pete
doing
Carroll
what
go
the
to
Bruce
Washington.
Arians did. He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't need the stress. I still like the grind, but I don't. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah. you know, laid back. But see, if Belichick go, he's on full control. That's Washington, right? But yeah,
But
he's
I
on
thought, like I
full
said, Brian,
control of the
I think
personnel.
I could see one of those defensive guys that we mentioned going to Seattle because they'll have a sounding board in Pete Carroll to bounce off of.
Man, I think if you ask me, does Belichick deserve a job? Obviously. If you say, what do organizations think about players now? I don't know if Belichick translates to any organization except the New England Patriots.
What
You
was
know,
that, Doc?
I just don't know if Belichick translates to any other organization besides the Patriots. I
Well,
don't
it's hard to
know.
see him out of it,
Right,
but
it's hard to see him out of it, and
I can
it's
see him in Seattle.
We'll see. So
You there, Doc?
yeah. I'm here. My phone was ringing, so I had to.
so good. And so listen, we'll with that being said, we'll get into the playoff talk right after this, man.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
All right.
It's called like Eventuals, I think.
So here we go. Starting off, let's look at the quarterback crop of the 2023-24 playoffs, and it will be that happened to the.
That's our injury.
No, but I thought I had the quarterback list here. I showed you the quarterback. Whatever.
Yeah, the records of all the playoff wins, of all the quarterbacks participating in the playoffs.
Yeah. I thought I loaded up. I thought I had the graphic loaded
Yeah, you
up.
had it before on the past stream. It ain't in the other stream, is it?
No, I'm gonna load it up now. But so, of course, let's talk about our injuries while we have that graphic up. We have who do you think is the out of this lineup? Who do you think is the most significant injury in your opinion?
Offense. I would say the offensive players.
Which one?
Waddle and Mostert.
Participate too.
Mostert. I would say Mostert. I said it last week.
Waddle and
I'll say
Mostert.
that again.
No, I'm talking about the ones on the bottom are questionable. I'm talking about the ones on the top, they're out for the game. You have Bradley Chubb, you have Jalen Phillips, you have Cameron Good, you have Xavier Howard, Isaiah Wynn, Jerome Baker, Van Ginkel, Keon Crossing, Connor Williams, and Salvan Ahmed. I think
Chubb.
Doc is saying. I think Doc is going with Savon Ahmed.
I know, right. No, it's Chubb. Do we know? So is Van Ginkel out for the year?
Well, he's not. He's not going to be in the play this game. The guys
Yeah,
on the bottom are
I think.
questionable.
Yeah, I would ultimately say that losing a guy like Chubb, who it just he was rounding into the $30 million guy that we thought he would be, and to lose that guy, his leadership, his effort, he was playing the run extremely well. He was, getting to the quarterback and the pressures, and that was Jalen Phillips was tough. I don't. I would say that you know Chubb was a gut shot, man. It just took the wind out of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.